Your morning is not just the beginning of a new day. It is the quiet conversation between your soul and the one who created it. Every sunrise carries a message. You have been given another chance to return, to rise, to realign. Before the world pulls you into its noise, its deadlines, its demands, your morning offers you a sacred window, a moment where your heart can choose who it wants to belong to. When you wake with purpose, when you begin with dhikr, with gratitude, with prayer, you are not just starting the day. You are shaping the direction of your entire life. Because a heart anchored in Allah at dawn is a heart that walks through the day with clarity, with grounding, with a strength that doesn't crumble when the world shifts. Your morning is where victories are built, where peace is planted, where intentions are purified. If you win your morning, you win your life. And when you place Allah at the center of that beginning, everything else falls into its rightful place. Not because life becomes easier, but because you become stronger. A purposeful morning anchors the heart before the world can shake it. It is in those first quiet moments, before your phone lights up, before responsibilities pull at you, before the noise of life demands your attention, that your soul reveals what it truly needs. A morning rooted in intention is like laying down the foundation of a home. If that foundation is strong, storms may come, winds may rise, but the structure stands firm. When you begin your day with purpose, with awareness, with a conscious return to allness, you are declaring to your heart, I choose clarity over chaos, meaning over noise, alignment over distraction. We often underestimate how fragile our emotional state can be when we wake up. A single message, a small inconvenience, an unexpected setback. These can shift our entire mood if the heart is not grounded. But when the first thing you do in your morning is turn inward, turn upward, and turn back to the one who controls all affairs, you create a spiritual shield around yourself. It doesn't mean the world becomes easier, it means as you become steadier. You are no longer entering the day empty. You are entering it filled, supported, and spiritually awake. A purposeful morning reminds you that you are not defined by your deadlines, your tasks, or the heaviness you carry. You are defined by your connection to the one who gave you breath. When you wake with dhikr on your tongue, when you whisper, Alhamdulillah, before your feet even touch the floor, when you pause to thank Allah for another sunnah, you realign your heart with what truly matters. Gratitude in the morning is not just a ritual. It opens the door for barakah. It transforms time, making minutes feel like hours and tasks become easier than they appear. When Allah blesses your morning, He blesses everything that follows. But a purposeful morning is not only about rituals, it is about mindset. It is about deciding who you want to be today. It is asking yourself, will I carry yesterday's burdens into today, or will I let this morning be a new beginning? Will I allow fear to guide me, or faith? Will I react to life, or will I rise above it? When your morning is intentional, you step into the day with a softness that isn't weakness, but wisdom. You respond with patience instead of irritation because your heart has already tasted stillness. You make choices rooted in clarity because your morning grounded you in truth. The world will try to shake you. There will be people who disappoint you, plans that fall apart, moments that test your strength. But when you have met your Lord in the quiet of dawn, when you have placed your fears and hopes in His hands before the world wakes, you walk into the day with a kind of strength that cannot be manufactured. It is the strength that comes from knowing that no matter what happens, you are held. You are guided. You are not walking alone. A purposeful morning teaches you that your heart is not meant to be reactive, but anchored. It teaches you that peace is not found in perfect circumstances, but in a soul aligned with its creator. It teaches you the first conversation you have each day should not be with the world, but with the one who made it. When you prioritize that connection, everything else gains perspective. Challenges lose their power to overwhelm you. Disappointments lose their ability to define you. Stress loses its ability to drain you. Because once the heart is anchoring you, the waves of the day may rise, but they cannot drown you. Fajr is not just a prayer. It is a spiritual reset that directs your entire day. It is the moment when the world is still wrapped in silence, when the air carries a softness that only the early dawn knows, and when your soul is most receptive to truth. Standing before Allah at that hour is not merely an act of worship, it is a declaration that your first breath of consciousness belongs to the one who gave you life. Fajr is the doorway through which your entire day walks, and how you step through that doorway shapes everything that follows. It realigns your heart, clears the fog of yesterday, and reminds you that today is a new chapter written by the mercy of Allah. It wipes the slate of your spirit clean, offering you a chance to start again, with purpose, with clarity, and with grounding. There is something profoundly healing about waking before the sun. It is as though you are invited into a private meeting with the divine, a time when distractions are minimal and sincerity becomes natural. In those still moments, your dua feels deeper, your sujud feels longer, and your heart feels softer. Fajr doesn't just reset your schedule, it resets your priorities. It whispers to your soul, "Let's remember why you are here. Remember who you belong to. Remember that everything begins with himmat." And when you remember that at the start of the day, you walk through life differently. You walk lighter, calmer, more focused, because you have already handed the day over to Allah. Even the struggle of waking up for Fajr is part of its blessing. That battle against your bed, your comfort, your sleep, it is a quiet jihad of the soul. And every time you rise despite your tiredness, you are training your heart to choose discipline over desire, faith over comfort, the eternal over the temporary. That single act of choosing Allah at dawn impacts your emotional, spiritual, and mental state more than you realize. It strengthens your willpower, sharpens your intention, and cultivates a sense of self-control that carries into every decision you make throughout the day. A person who can conquer the dawn can conquer their weaknesses. Fajr also holds a unique kind of barakah. The Prophet taught us that the early morning is blessed, and so many of the righteous found their greatest clarity, productivity, and inspiration after Fajr. This is not accidental. When you begin your day with a moment of intimacy with Allah, you invite His blessing into your time. Suddenly tasks become easier, your mind becomes sharper, your heart becomes calmer. Problems feel less heavy not because they disappear, but because your connection to the one who handles all affairs becomes stronger. Fajr is not just a prayer, it is Allah's mercy pulling you back to Him before the world distracts you. Spiritually, Fajr acts as a reminder that no darkness lasts forever. The night may feel long, your challenges may feel overwhelming, but Fajr arrives with the promise of light. Just as the sky transitions from darkness to dawn, your soul can transition from burden to relief, from confusion to clarity, from heaviness to hope. Every Fajr is a symbol that Allah brings light after every difficulty. When you stand in prayer at that time, you are telling your heart, if Allah can bring the sun out of the darkness every morning, He can bring me out of mine too. If Fajr becomes the anchor of your life, your days become more intentional, your emotions more steady, your decisions more meaningful. It is not simply a prayer you perform. It is a spiritual training that shapes your character. It teaches you resilience, discipline, trust, and surrender. It aligns your day with purpose and aligns your heart with peace. When you pray Fajr, you are not just fulfilling an obligation, you are resetting your entire being. You are beginning your day with Allah, and that single choice can transform everything that comes after. What you feed your soul at dawn becomes the strength you walk with until night. The early morning is not just a moment in time, it is a spiritual womb where your energy, your intentions, and your emotional resilience are born. When the world is quiet and the sky is still dressed in darkness, your heart is the most open, the most vulnerable, and the most honest. Whatever you give your soul in those precious moments becomes the emotional and spiritual fuel that carries you through the hours ahead. If you begin your day with remembrance, gratitude, and presence with Allah, you carry a light that no stress, no disappointment, no challenge can easily extinguish. But if you begin with distraction, haste, or heedlessness, the heart enters the day already hungry, already restless, already unsettled. Dawn is not just a time, it is a mirror. It reflects back to you what you prioritize, what you value, and who you truly are when the noise is removed. When you choose Quran over your phone, prayer over postponement, reflection over rush, your soul absorbs a nourishment that strengthens you from within. Your morning dhikr becomes the shield around your heart. Your whispered dua becomes the calm beneath your anxiety. Your sujud becomes the grounding that keeps you steady when the world tries to pull you in many directions. What you pour into your soul at that hour determines what pours out of you when the day becomes heavy. There is a reason dawn feels different, a reason your thoughts are clearer, your emotions softer, your heart more aware. Allah created it as a time of tranquility, a moment where heaven seems closer, where sincerity comes naturally. Feeding your soul at that time is like placing seeds into fertile soil. Whatever you plant will grow. If you plant gratitude, you walk through your day with contentment. If you plant trust, you carry faith into your struggles. If you plant intention, your actions gain meaning. And if you plant remembrance, your day becomes illuminated with purpose. But feeding your soul at dawn also protects you. The world can be loud. People can be unpredictable. Plans can collapse. News can overwhelm. And life can change in a single moment. But when your soul has already eaten from the plate of faith in the early hours, nothing catches you empty-handed. You respond to hardship with patience instead of panic. You handle difficulties with clarity instead of confusion. You move through stress with calmness instead of collapse. The strength you feel later in the day was not built in that moment. It was built at dawn. Think about the days when your morning was rushed, chaotic, or spiritually empty. How easily did frustration take over? How quickly did small things feel heavy? How fragile did your emotions become? Now compare that to the days when you prayed calmly, recited even a small portion of Quran, or simply sat for a few minutes remembering Allah. Those days felt different, not because life was easier, but because you were stronger. Your soul had been fed, and a fed soul never walks as heavily as a starved one. What you feed your soul at dawn also shapes your identity. It teaches you discipline, consistency, and intentionality. It reminds you that you are not just a body moving through tasks, but a heart moving through life. You begin to see your day not as a list to complete, but as a journey toward Allah. Your interactions become gentler because your heart was softened at dawn. Your decisions become wiser because your mind was clarified at dawn. Your patience grows because your soul was strengthened at dawn. The truth is, you spend the whole day drawing from the spiritual reservoir you build in the morning. If it is full, you walk with peace. If it is empty, you walk with imbalance. Feeding your soul at dawn is not a ritual. It is a lifeline. It is a gift from Allah, a chance every morning to fortify your spirit before the world tries to shake it. The strength you need for the day does not come when you face difficulty. It comes from how you begin your morning, and when you feed your soul with sincerity at dawn, you carry a quiet, unshakable power until night. Morning gratitude invites Barakah into your time, actions, and intentions. It is one of those silent acts of worship that transforms the unseen before it transforms the seen. When you wake and your first instinct is to say, pause, Alhamdulillah, something shifts inside you. You begin the day not chasing what you lack, but recognizing what you already have. Gratitude in the morning is like opening a door that allows Allah's blessings to flow more freely into every hour that follows. It softens the heart, clears the mind, and repositions your soul so it starts the day from a place of humility and awareness rather than worry and haste. And when your heart begins with gratitude, the rest of your day becomes lighter, not because it is free of difficulty, but because you are free of forgetfulness. Gratitude at dawn changes the way you see everything. Suddenly the small things become gifts, the warmth of your bed, the breath in your lungs, the ability to rise, the chance to begin again. These are blessings that many people lose without warning, and yet here you are, waking with another opportunity, another morning that Allah chose to return your soul to your body. When you acknowledge that quietly in your heart, Barakah begins to settle into your time. Your day feels more spacious. Your tasks become more manageable. Your decisions become clearer. Gratitude expands what you have, not by increasing its quantity, but by increasing your capacity to appreciate it, and that appreciation invites divine multiplication. Barakah is not something you can earn through effort alone. It is a gift from Allah, granted to hearts that remember Him. Morning gratitude is one of the simplest forms of remembrance, yet it carries enormous spiritual weight. When you wake and thank Allah, even silently, you are acknowledging His mercy before you even step into the day. You are seeing, Zir, I see your generosity. I recognize your kindness. I am aware of your presence. This awareness becomes the foundation upon which your day is built. A foundation built on gratitude is stronger, more resilient, and more open to blessings. Morning gratitude also purifies intentions. When you begin your day by thanking Allah, your heart naturally aligns itself with purpose rather than pressure. You stop moving through the day to impress people or chase validation. Instead, you move to fulfill the trust Allah has placed in you, to honor the chance He gave you, to live in a way that reflects your gratitude. Every action becomes more meaningful. Every step becomes more conscious. Gratitude becomes the filter through which your intentions are refined. And when intentions are pure, Allah places a unique light in everything you do. There is a deep connection between gratitude and time. People often complain that hours slip away, days vanish, and nothing seems to get done. But time is not measured only by clocks, it is measured by barakah. A person who begins with gratitude may finish in 1 hour what others cannot complete in 3. Their thoughts have clarity. Their heart has calm. Their direction is focused. Gratitude gives you the emotional bandwidth to handle challenges without feeling drained. It gives you the mental space to make decisions without being overwhelmed. It gives you the spiritual grounding to remain steady even when the day becomes turbulent. Without gratitude, the heart wakes up empty. It begins the day hungry for more comfort, more success, more recognition. But with gratitude, the heart wakes. It begins the day nourished, already content, already aware of Allah's generosity. A full heart walks with peace. An empty heart walks with dissatisfaction. And the state of your heart in the morning becomes the tone of your entire. Morning gratitude is not complicated. It doesn't require long words or perfect speech. Sometimes it's just a quiet, Alhamdulillah, whispered in the stillness of dawn. Sometimes it's a breath taken with a warren. Sometimes it's a moment of silence where you simply acknowledge that you woke up because Allah willed it. These small moments carry a power so immense that they can shift the direction of your day. When you greet the morning with gratitude, Allah places unseen ease into your path. He expands your time, blesses your efforts, purifies your intentions, and strengthens your heart. Gratitude is the key that unlocks Barakah, and the morning is the door through which it enters. If you want your day to be blessed, begin with a heart that remembers. Begin with gratitude. Begin with Alhamdulillah. Beginning the day with awe creates emotional resilience and inner clarity. It is in those first sacred moments of the morning, when the world has not yet demanded anything from you, when your mind has not yet been pulled in 1,000 directions, that your heart is most capable of connecting deeply with its creator. When you start your day by turning to Allah, you are not just performing a ritual, you are aligning your entire emotional being with the one who holds control over everything you will face. This alignment creates a stability inside you, a groundedness that makes you less reactive, less shaken, less overwhelmed by what the day brings. It becomes the quiet strength behind your patience, the stillness beneath your stress, and the clarity behind your decisions. Every morning, you step into a world filled with expectations, uncertainties, and hidden tests. You cannot know what news will reach you, what challenges will surprise you, or what emotions you will experience. But when your first act of the day is remembrance, when your heart begins with the name of Allah, you carry a sense of security that does not depend on circumstances. It is the type of resilience that comes from knowing that you are supported by a power beyond your own. You can move through the day with compassion, with calmness, with steadiness, because your emotional balance is tied to something eternal, not to the temporary events around you. Beginning the day with Allah also shapes the way you interpret the world. Problems that once felt heavy begin to feel manageable. Situations that once made you anxious now feel like opportunities for growth. The morning remembrance reframes your mindset. It shifts you from panic to patience, from confusion to trust. You start to see that nothing comes to you except by Allah's wisdom, and nothing leaves you except by His mercy. This clarity frees you from the emotional chaos that often follows a heart disconnected from its creator. When you pray, reflect, or recite Quran in the morning, you cleanse your heart before the world can cloud it. You remove the remnants of yesterday's burdens. You empty your worries into the hands of Allah, and in return, He fills you with calm. This emotional reset becomes your anchor throughout the day. Even when things go wrong, even when someone upsets you, even when tasks pile up, you find yourself able to breathe, able to pause, able to respond instead of react. That is emotional resilience, the ability to stay centered when life is pulling you in different directions. Inner clarity also comes from this morning connection. When you begin with Allah, your intentions become purified. You know why you are working, why you are striving, why you are choosing patience. You are no longer moving through the day aimlessly, you are moving with purpose. This clarity reduces confusion, eliminates unnecessary stress, and helps you distinguish between what truly matters and what is simply noise. You stop wasting emotional energy on things that don't align with your values, and you start investing your heart in what brings you closer to Allah. The peace you feel after a meaningful morning with Allah is not accidental. It is a divine gift. It is Allah placing tranquility, sakina, into your heart so you can walk through the day with strength. This tranquility strengthens your relationships because a calm heart speaks gently. It strengthens your work because a focused heart excels. It strengthens your faith because a connected heart trusts deeply. And it strengthens your self-control because a conscious heart does not get easily carried away by anger or fear. Beginning the day with Allah means you have already placed the most important part of your day, your soul, into soul. Everything else becomes easier to navigate. You become kinder because your heart is full. You become wiser because your mind is clear. You become stronger because your emotions are anchored. And you become more hopeful because you have reminded yourself that Allah is with you. A morning that begins with Allah is not just a good habit, it is a lifeline. It builds resilience that the world cannot break and clarity that confusion cannot steal. It brings a peace that does not depend on the day being perfect. It transforms you from the inside out, allowing you to move through life with a heart grounded in certainty and a mind illuminated with purpose. when you start with Allah. You walk through the day accompanied by Him. And there is no greater strength than that. When you win your morning, you transform your mindset, habits, and destiny. The early hours of the day hold a power that many people overlook. A quiet, sacred energy that molds the direction of your life. Your morning is not just the beginning of another day, it is the blueprint for who you are becoming. The choices you make in those first moments ripple into everything that follows. If you rise with intention, discipline, and awareness of Allah, you reshape the lens through which you view the world. You enter the day not as someone merely surviving, but as someone consciously steering their life toward purpose. Winning your morning is not about perfection, it is about present. It is about choosing to start the day anchored rather than scattered, guided rather than lost. Your mindset is the first thing that transforms when your morning is intentional. Before the world speaks to you, you speak to your soul. Before external noise fills your mind, you allow faith to settle into your heart. This single shift changes how you process everything that comes afterward. A mindset grounded in the morning becomes a mindset that knows how to remain steady in chaos. You begin the day reminding yourself of Allah's presence, and that remembrance becomes the filter through which you interpret challenges, setbacks, and interactions. Suddenly, things that once overwhelmed you lose their power. You no longer move reactively, you move proof. You no longer see obstacles as threats, you see them as part of your growth. This clarity and strength do not appear randomly. They are cultivated intentionally, and the morning is the soil where they grew. Winning your morning also transforms your habits. The first habits you perform upon waking shape the habits you carry throughout the day. If you choose procrastination in the morning, you carry delay into your tasks. If you choose mindfulness, discipline, and prayer, those become the rhythms of your day. Small morning actions accumulate into lasting change. Waking up early, making dua, reading even a small portion of Quran, setting intentions, these habits may seem small, but they rewire your brain, strengthen your self-control, and nurture consistency. The discipline it takes to rise, to remember God, to push past comfort, this discipline bleeds into every other area of your life. You become someone who follows, someone who chooses growth over ease, someone whose actions align with their values, and slowly, these habits begin to carve a new destiny. People often wait for life to change externally, not realizing that true transformation begins internally, and most powerfully, in the morning. When you win your morning, you take control of your narrative. You stop living passively, letting life happen to you, and start living intentionally, shaping your future with conscious choices. A morning rooted in worship creates a day rooted in meaning. A morning rooted in clarity creates a life rooted in direction. A morning rooted in gratitude and discipline creates a destiny rooted in excellence. Destiny is not changed in a single moment. It is shaped by the things you do repeatedly. And the habits you repeat every morning become the foundation of your character. How you treat yourself at dawn reflects how you treat your life. If your morning is chaotic, your life will feel chaotic. If your morning is neglected, your goals will remain neglected. But if your morning is honored, your dreams begin to breathe. If your morning is disciplined, your intentions begin to manifest. If your morning is connected to Allah, your entire journey becomes blessed. Winning your morning is not about having an aesthetic routine or a rigid schedule. It is about aligning your beginning with the one who writes all beginnings. It is about acknowledging that the first moments of your day carry spiritual weight. It is about reminding yourself that your soul deserves nourishment before your tasks demand your energy. When you pour faith, gratitude, and purpose into your morning, you carry strength, clarity, and consistency into your day. And this is where destiny shifts, not through sudden miracles, but through quiet, repeated choices that anchor you to Allah and to the person you aspire to become. When you win your morning, you win your mindset. When you win your mindset, you win your habits. And when you win your habits, you transform the direction of your life. Your destiny begins with how you greet the morning. Make it intentional, make it sacred, and watch how everything else begins to rise with you.